Hey girlies, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hello, my name is Tashay. Welcome to another episode of Makeup Monday. We are doing some Ryan Destiny inspired makeup. Absolutely love her makeup. She's a gorgeous girl, and she always does this perfect like 90s neutral glam, and I love it. So we're gonna kind of do our own little version today. I'm gonna show you guys step by step how I'm gonna get the look. And yeah, let's get straight into it. I'm so excited. I love me a neutral soft glam look. Like that's like one of my top two like looks that I love to go for. Let's get into it, honey. To be honest, a lot of her makeup looks are very similar, but I'm kind of gonna go off this photo here. Hopefully you guys can see. This is by the makeup artist King Mali Magic. So I've already moisturized and done my brows. Today's moisturizer, I actually used this. This is Huda Beauty by Joseon. I think that's how you say it. It's the Korean skincare. I use the Dynasty cream. I've been kind of testing this since I got it last month. So what I've been doing is using the Weleda Skin Food as like a base and then going on top of this, and it's been looking so good. And I did the same thing today and the skin's kind of glowing. I'm liking it. So still got a way to go before I can give like an actual review on like all the products that they sent me, but so far so good. So let's get into the skin. We're gonna go ahead and prime. I feel like Ryan's makeup is usually kind of like a soft matte. I feel like more on the matte side, so I want to make sure the skin is hydrated before I go in with the powders and such. I have been loving my Alpha Halo Glow filter. Like this underneath any makeup just gives it that extra glow, gorgeousness. But I do want to keep the skin kind of radiant but more matte, so I am going to go with my NARS. This is the Natural Radiant Longwear foundation, and I have the shade, it's literally slipped off, but I have the shade Namibia. I did see that they came out with new shades, but of course they're not out in the UK yet, so we'll wait and see. But I'm wondering if I'll have a new shade like once they come over here, because they looked interesting. I'm just gonna apply a little bit to the skin, and then if I want to add more I will. I'm just gonna now press that in. One thing about NARS, like their foundations, top two. Like if you're ever in doubt, you don't know what foundation to buy, I would always recommend just go to NARS. Like I know there's so many brands to choose from these days, but you just can't go wrong with NARS foundation. Like look at that. Do you see it? Yeah. I put a little bit more than I usually do just because I want to go for the coverage today. Like I really want to do true soft glam, you know. And I feel like a lot of the time when people talk about 90s glam, they talk about how natural it is. And yes, it was more natural, but I think we also have to remember like technology was different. So the cameras probably didn't pick up just how much was on, especially when it comes to like print and magazines and photo shoots. They were wearing makeup. It was just applied in a very specific way. So yeah, I'm gonna continue pressing this all in. Of course, I'm going to prime the eyes, but for palette, you guys know my go-to neutral palette is my Makeup by Mario. I always go on about this. I'm sure you guys might be a bit tired of it, but I will tell you guys, like, this is a really good neutral palette. It's just perfect. Let's go ahead and prime the eyes. I always prime my eyes. Whenever I don't, or I don't prime enough, I can always see it, and it's always instant regret. So I'm gonna go ahead and prime the eye. If you find that your eyeshadow has like creases in it, it's probably because you didn't apply enough primer, or you didn't apply it at all. You don't always have to go out and buy a separate primer. You can use concealer for this part. So I'm just gonna blend this. I'm probably gonna use more of these lighter browns with this like red tone brown in my crease, just to like kind of start off the eye, kind of get rid of this ashy vibe, and then we'll go into like the bulk of what we're gonna go for. So I'm just gonna use a nice like fluffy blending brush, just a general blending brush. So now we don't have that ashy look, and now we can actually go ahead and build the eye. I'm gonna go ahead and do our outer corner. I'm gonna go into this dark brown. I'm probably gonna add a little bit of black later, but I'm gonna go into the brown first, and I'm just kind of gonna go on my outer V and like drag it out, because one thing about Ryan's eyes, she has such pretty eyes and they're kind of like cat eye, so we kind of want to mimic that. Even though I don't have cat eye eyes, I have more small eyes. I don't know if I'll say cat eye, but we're gonna basically get that vibe going. So I'm gonna start just here. I'm gonna start dragging it out, and then we're gonna do a V like this. I'm also going to pick up a little bit of this red tone brown just to warm it up. I don't want it to look too cool toned. The same motions, I'm still going to use that V shape. And dragging it out. So I'm kind of tempted to do a bit of the shimmer just because I know she had some shimmer on this look. I have this old palette from mcgarth and it has some really pretty shimmers in there. I might pick up one of these, but I think I'm going to base it with a matte shade first just in case, because I'm not really sure if I want to do a shimmer. I'm going to go into some of these lighter browns. I think I'm going to mix maybe this with a little of that, a little of that, just to get me a nice like milk chocolate type of brown. Something like close to my skin tone but a little bit lighter. And then I'm just going to apply this in the inner, like this area, like the inner half of my eye, but mainly on my lid. I'm probably going to use this shade here, or maybe this shade. I want to go with something quite subtle but with a little shimmer, almost like a satin shade. I don't want to go with something too glittery. I feel like if it's too glittery it becomes too party. We still want it to be subtle but just a little kick or something. So those are the 3 shades that I have. I think I'm going to go for the middle shade just because this one's a bit too, or I don't know, I might actually mix these two. It's almost like a matte shimmer, like it's like a satin type of shadow. So it has like the most subtle sparkle, but it's there, like you could see it. I don't know. But now we're just going to go ahead and finish up the eyes. So now we're really going to go in with the smoke on our outer V. So we're going to go into that same dark brown we used earlier with a little bit of the black and just really build in that smoke on the edges. So I'm not going to pull it out, I'm just going to concentrate it to really like dominate that area. We've really got that smoky look coming together now. I'm going to use the same brush and just kind of tap on the edges so it's not so harsh and it kind of diffuses. We don't want any harsh lines. So one thing I noticed in most of her looks is that she has eyeliner going on her top lash line and on her bottom lash line, kind of bringing it all together. I don't like putting eyeliner on my top lash line, so I'm going to go in with an eyeshadow just to kind of mimic that effect. So I'm just going to use like a very tiny like pencil type brush, and I'm going with the black eyeshadow, and I'm going to basically mimic what would be like an eyeliner placement. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that so far. I am going to throw on my lashes. I think with my concealer, you guys know I like to give a cat eye effect with my concealer and kind of angle it upwards. So I'm going to push into that cat eye and then we'll finish off the eyes after we do the rest of the base. So for concealer, we're going to use an oldie but goodie. This is the Too Faced Born This Way concealer in Chestnut. I want a very flawless glam today, so I want to go with a tried and true concealer, even though like I have so many concealers I love now, but I haven't used this in a while. I'm gonna make sure I emphasize that cat eye on the edges. For bronzer, I'm gonna use my ABH Chestnut bronzer. I want something a little bit more warm toned, so I'm gonna go with this one today. And I'm following that cat eye that I got. So that's looking really good so far. I'm actually going to go in and add this Cam concealer in the shade Caramel Latte. I don't want to go too bright with my under eye because I feel like Ryan's makeup is always like subtle. Like it's bright under eye, but it's still like quite, if you get what I mean. So I don't want to go too in. So I'm just going to put a little dot of this just in the corner. And then I'm going to go ahead and kind of reinforce this bronzer, just using what's left on the brush. And I'm going to use the bottom side of my beauty sponge and just blend out this bronzer. I'm trying to kind of keep that cat eye kind of prominent, so not blending it down too much. Now for blush, I feel like her blush is much more subtle, so I might skip the cream blush at this point. It's still quite prominent, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to keep it more on the back end and then come down with powder blush at the end. So I'm just going to use these two made by Mitchell. This is Cherry Cola and Where's the SPF. I'm going to use more Cherry Cola than Where's the SPF just because her blush is pretty pink. And just a tiny bit of Where's the SPF just to add a little bit of depth. I am just going to use my Say brush to blend this out, the larger area. I'm going to kind of push the blush backwards instead of bringing it in. Just push it up here. Because her blush definitely looks like high, but it looks more like pulled back. So, and then we'll do the same to this side. Just kind of pull the blush back. So it's still visible, but kind of more pulled back. I think I'm just going to go with some Huda because why not? I'm going to use my Kunafa powder by Huda. And when I tell you guys, foundation is so important. I know the girls on all these other apps are like, oh, no foundation, just concealer. Girl, foundation is the key to a flawless base. Don't let anybody tell you can just get flawless look with concealer. Put on some foundation. There's a reason why it's called foundation. It's the foundation of your makeup. You can build on top of it. And I'm going to go in my forehead. So looking back at the photo, she definitely has a bright under eye. So I'm going to continue with my regular method because I think it will still complement the look. So I'm just going to use my Mercier powder and a powder puff. I completely forgot about bronzer. I'm actually going to use my Charlotte Tilbury. I feel like we're already bronzed as it is, so don't really have to do too much here. And then for blush, I think I'm just going to go in with this because the blush that she has on looks very rosy and her blush comes pretty like into the face. So I'm going to kind of try and mimic that and bring it in. And then I'm going to go with my powder puff and just pack this all in. I'll just use my blush brush to kind of... Don't you hate when your eye starts to water? Like, it's literally threatening to ruin our work, but we won't let them have it. So we're going to finish up the lower lash lines. I think I'm going to use a mix of these two browns and just go over my lower lash line. Okay, I don't know if you guys could tell because I literally had to like jump in my mirror to get it done. But I just put like a small layer of eyeshadow under there. I'm also going to tightline, so I'm going to put some black eyeliner on my waterline. So I'm just going to use this black pencil liner from Revolution. I'm just going to take my bee sponge and I'm just going to line. I'm also going to use some of the liner and go in my inner corner and kind of like map that out. I'm just going to kind of tight line. I think I might also bring a little bit of shadow out here because I feel like it looks a bit closed and I want to bring it out. And then I'm going to apply some mascara on my lower lash line as well, just a little bit, just to, you know, finish up the eyes. So that's how the eyes have come out. Very like kind of unintentionally smoky, but with how my eyes are, how small they are, it's just really hard for me to like avoid this if I'm going to go for this type of look. I'm using my MAC Fix Plus just to set the face. So now for lip combo. Sadly, the Rang Destiny matte collab did not come out in the UK. So I'm kind of going to do my own little remix of it. So you guys know I'm already going to use my Morphe liner. But for a lipstick, which I don't always do, I'm going to use this MAC lipstick in Whirl. It's like a really pretty like pinky toned nudish pink. You guys can see it there. That shade here. Super pretty. And then I'm probably going to use a gloss on top. I saw in her lip combo it's like a pinky rose gold gloss, and do you know what, my Fenty might go with that. I'm putting a little touch of this. I'm not putting much, because I find that when I have too much lipstick on, it just does not suit me. So, and I'm gonna go with my Fenty Gloss Bomb in Fenty Glow, and it's literally on this last legs. I literally need a new one. I feel like I'm happy with that, even though lipstick, I'm not the biggest fan of lipstick unless it's a bold color. I just, nude lipsticks, I feel like they just look, they blend too in. I don't know, maybe I still have to like be on the lookout for my perfect lipstick. But so this is the finished look. I did change up my top just to kind of match the aesthetic. The eyes are definitely the main character. I feel like whenever Ryan does her makeup, her eyes are always defined. Like no matter what, it's always some eyeliner. But yeah, I do like it. We did go really warm with the complexion. I definitely, with the blush placement, I brought it in a little bit more, and I actually kind of like it. I think I might switch it up to do this type of blush, because usually I keep my blush outside, but bringing it in, I think it gives it another element of like softness. Actually, I went over and added a little bit more eyeshadow on the lower lash line, just because I feel like that's one big difference that she definitely gets done in her makeup that makes a difference. So yeah, this is the finished vibe. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this Makeup Monday. As always, the products will be in the description. Don't forget to give me a nice thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one.